Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Due to some feedback from last week, this will be a little bit different than last class. Let's get started. We're basing this class on the article. It came from Science Fiction, which I hope you guys have either skimmed through or kind of looked at before class, but if not, that's fine. You can just pull it up on your screen next to you or print it. If not, you could always look back at it right after this class. Let's start with the vocab for this week. Try to go over in case they're maybe too easy so we can get to other stuff. Contraptions. This is a noun and it means complex mechanical devices or gadgets. The sample sentence from the article is Jules Verne's novels featured imaginative contraptions that inspired real inventions like submarines. So a submarine would also be a contraption. That's what a contraption is. Just any device, gadget, phone's a contraption. It's can apply to lots of things. Intrigued is a verb, and it means fascinated or interested. Arrow Bakken was intrigued by the creative spark of Dr. Frankenstein's electricity in Mary Shelley's novel. He was fascinated. Foretold is a verb, and it means predicted or announced beforehand. Science fiction often foretells. Foretells is the present of foretold. Foretold is the past. Often foretells, as in predicts beforehand. Science fiction often foretells or predicts technological advancements that later become a reality. Tim Berners-Lee and Dio F. for Frankenstein. Tim Berners was the creator of the World Wide Web, and this was inspired by Arthur C. Clarke's short story because inside that story they talk with some computer code. Don't worry about the specifics. The point of this is mostly just to tell you all the things in our life today that were created just because someone read sci-fi literature or indulged in some sci-fi media. That's it. So if you don't know, like, what's Dio F for Frankenstein, don't worry, you can look into that later if you're interested. And in Star Trek inspired Martin Cooper to create the cell phone because of the wireless communicators. So this is a TV series. It's not just sci-fi literature or sci-fi books, but any type of sci-fi media. And then Tomotaka was inspired by Astro Boy, a comic book series, a human made of wires and software. So that's what inspired robotics. And now let's talk about what type of writing skills that they use inside this article to convey what they were trying to convey to us. They use Firstly, I'm going to start with clear thesis statement. They had a really clear, they expressed really clearly what they wanted to talk about for the entire rest of the article, which is this: the transformation of fictional ideas into actual technology reaches back to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. So the entire thesis is about how fictional ideas turn into actual technology, which is exactly what is stated inside here. And not just that, it says reaches back to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. This gives us a starting point, a springboard for what's going to happen, what we're going to talk about next. It doesn't mean that the actual entire thing is about, that's why they say reaches back to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. We'll look at how they use quotes in a second. This is very important for writing, but the concluding thought is also important. In the other articles that we read, there was kind of less so of this concluding, wrapping up, but this one kind of wraps it up pretty nicely with talking about what will come in the future. So it really, even though it wasn't fully chronological meaning that it's like following the timeline, it nearly was. And so for the last part to talk about what will happen in the future, if it's like it flows very nicely. So flow is really important, and that's why before you write, it's good to like kind of plan out what do I want to tell in the first step, and then what do I want to tell next? Like how will that flow to the next? Do I have to say something in between the first two things I thought of that I should express to the reader in order for it to flow smoothly. Now let's go over the reading comprehension. I'm gonna have it here like this so I can pull out the article if to explain anything at any time. All right. And also, I would like for you guys to participate. It's okay if you didn't get the question correct on the first try or you didn't get all the questions correct. No problem. This is just for us to discuss together also. So whatever you're comfortable with, and let's get started. So question one, the article primarily discusses A, inventors who were inspired by science fiction to develop new technology. B, inventors who read books about ship-like flying machines with propellers. C, forms of wireless communication that were inspired by television series. Or D, science fiction that features characters who travel in submersible vessels. Let's ponder about it a little bit. What do we think? Yes. Oh, thank you for already going on to the second one. Okay. All right, yes, everyone is correct. The first one is the answer is A, which we know because it's not just about inventors who read books about flying machines, because they talk about communication and phone and things that inspired phones and also the internet as well. So it's therefore B is wrong, C is also wrong. Also, if you guys can also tell me like why other answers are wrong. If you don't know the answer to it, you could either give an attempt or you can just tell me which ones you know for sure are like, that's not it for sure, right? And it's not D because it's not just about characters who travel in submersible vessels. So primarily discusses the broader topic. Correct. I think you guys all got it. Elaine, may I read yours out loud or not comfortable with that? I don't know if this is just like on my screen already and everyone's just like, sorry about that. Huh? That's really cute. That's awesome also. Yeah. Or sometimes like if you see something, sometimes you like a lot of inventions is okay. But a lot of inventions are also based off of other inventions. Like some science experiments that I was super interested in doing was inspired by other ones. Like the ones where I think people use lemon to draw on paper and it's like invisible ink. And then there was like, and then I kind of I was like inspired by that to use this other type of to make like my own pigment or something. It's like really long ago. I love all of these responses and they're all super cool. Even the one where it was just no. Cool. Awesome. Great. But also next time, let's do let's write it in some formal MLA format. Yeah, but this is really awesome and I like it. Privacy reasons. But I'll read out loud so
Okay.
it can keep some anonymity. Okay. So someone said, I read this book called The Edge of the Ice, which is about a girl in the Olympics called Karen Chen, and she is an ice skater. I started ice skating when I was 6 because that book persuades me to ice skate. Awesome. That's exactly that definitely answers the question. That's so cool. And I also like the format of how you wrote that too. It flows nicely, yeah. Talking about the book, what's in the book, and then how that inspired you. So also great logical flow to that. Someone said the book was a science experiment book. And exactly, yeah, you could be inspired by books that are about inspiring you to do things also. That's definitely inspiration. And I used to do science experiments all the time, and I still like to do this stuff now. It just looks so cool. It just looked cool, so I started to do it. True. A video and someone else said a video my mom showed me when I was 5 started to be inspired. I started watching videos about ballet. Then a few weeks later, my mom brought me to ballet and I started dancing from then. Ah, that's awesome. Archery is so cool. Everybody that sent me a response, thank you so much. These are all great. Next class, let's write in full sentences and not colloquially. Even though I did understand you guys' point and it was all cool, but we will work on writing formally. Yay. We do have time right now. We have 4 whole minutes. You can also try rewriting what you wrote to me, but think that you're writing it to a professor, and I don't want to be a harsh professor, but let's pretend that there's an imaginary dystopian professor out there, and they want your work to be really formal and they want full sentences. They want it to be like you are publishing it. Extra points if you use any of the vocab mentioned today. Awesome. But I'm really glad that all of you guys have so many cool ambitions. Someone said no.
Okay, maybe they're looking. Okay, that's why they come to the class to looking for inspiration.
True, a class can inspire you too. We are working on what we wrote. I would like some formal paragraphs. Good point. That's something I can work on too. Next time, I will bring my own example. Or maybe I'll come up with one right now at the same time as you guys. Just, yeah, that's a good point. I will come up with an example so then we know how we're gonna format it. Look at what your response to all the questions, any of the questions I presented, and see how you can kind of format it to be 5 sentences. Even though if you're like, oh my God, I'm going to have to like squeeze this out like leftover toothpaste, figure a way to get 5 sentences. I know we can do that.